Good morning. Today is Friday, December 3rd, and I wanted to share my advent calendars with you. I didn't get a chance to share the Sweet Sparrow one with you. I open the Sweet Sparrow one at night because my husband works late, and so all three of us sit with our countdowns and open them in the evening after dinner. And the lighting, of course, is absolutely horrible at that time. So this was day one, and it is called Frozen Ocean. So it's this really beautiful, just light blue with a lot of sand color and little dots of darker brown. And it came with this pretty holly berry uh, wild, what was I going to go with? Woodland, there we go. Woodland sticker. And then yesterday, the color was Tender Hearted, and it came with this really gorgeous mini acorn progress keeper. So then I will know about day 3 tonight when I open it. My day 3 for my Canon hand dyes Sherlock countdown calendar is really hard. There we go. Look at that. It's this beautiful chocolate brown. And I'm super excited because this is the second brown that I've gotten in this collection. I'm a sucker for a very good brown, and I find that it's hard. They must be really hard to dye. So you have this really chocolatey kind of reddish brown on this side here, which is day 3, and it's showing up brighter than what it is. It's very saturated. These are on yak, so my color. Oh, it's early. My camera is trying to compensate. So this one isn't actually orange. It's actually a toffee color. Let me see if I can. There you go. That's much more accurate. That's more what they look like right there. Anyway, like I said, I'm just excited. This is the second brown I've received, and they're gorgeous. They're so hard to do right, and I think that she really knocked them out of the park. So yeah, I spent a bunch of time knitting last night on my Talvinin sweater, and I will show that to you later. But I also spent a bunch of time looking for this ball. When my son was 4, I knit him this little guy. This is we call him the Teddy Monster, but he's not. He's from Susan Claudino, I believe, and she did a Where the Wild Things Are collection, and this is the monster that is not wearing pajamas. This is the regular monster. And he's had a couple different faces over the years. We fostered my brother-in-law's golden retriever for a little while when he was going through his divorce, and he was unaware that this was not his toy, and so he ate out one of the eyes, and my son screamed bloody murder. I've never heard him scream before, and he was distraught. So of course I explained to him that, it's knit, and so I just reknit his head, and now he's had, since I reknit his head 2 years ago, he's had at least 2 smiles. The last one was green, and then we went with this brown, and it's a pretty high twist, so it should last a little bit longer this time. And other than that, he's had a very uneventful life until 3 days ago, and somehow we popped a stitch. So I just need to sew that back up. And my husband makes fun of me. Oh, so he's got his little flap for his little pajamas back here. You can make some really intense pajamas. Anyway, my husband makes fun of me because I've kept this ball of yarn. I've had this ball of yarn since I was working at Ewan Brew in Idaho. I bought this yarn. This is Dream in Color Classy, the non-cashmere. It's a worsted, and it's in her colorway Title, and I actually ordered a sweater quantity of this because of this skein right here, and when I got it, the dye lot was so different that I couldn't even use it. I didn't even choose to use it, but I love this one, and I have saved this ball of yarn. It's half skein of yarn. I've saved it for 6 years, so just so that whenever something happens to Teddy Monster, he can have surgery. So I'm gonna repair him real quick this morning. I knit my husband one of these. It's in my son's room. I'll have to go get it so that you can see the pajama version. They're so stinking cute. Okay, so here's my second one. He is knit out of a 5-pack, I believe, of mini skeins, worsted mini skeins from Frabjous Fibers. Wonderland Yarns and Frabjous Fibers. And I don't remember the name of the pack. Sorry, guys. But I just picked 3 colors, and it worked out just fine. So he's the pajama version. So he has his little flap on the back, too. But his pajamas are striped, and then, you know, his body is obviously the brown. And that one's my husband's. And he hasn't been repaired before. He usually lives in the car. I just realized he doesn't have any eyebrows. I've always wondered why he looks a little funny. Anyway, so I brought over my little notions pouch. It's got my stuff in it. This is my, oops, there we go. This is from my friend Mariah. She has a company called Knitted Niceties, and she does tons of bags. She's got all kinds of stuff. And the inside is gears and cogs for the little steampunk Halloween fall people. Yeah, so I just sat down with my coffee. My mug is from Moonshine Designs here in Houston. I will link her below. And this is her mountains mug. I love the little moon. It makes me really happy. Yeah, so I'm just gonna drink my coffee. And then, ooh, we're really bright today. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna drink my coffee. And then Hector has a lab set up at it's called Little Beakers. We have one down here in Houston, and basically it's a science lab that's set up, and you can, I think it's like $15 for an hour slot, and there's like 30 different experiments you can do. I want to say it's kind of self-guided, but I've never really been, so I'm hoping that they're willing to take pity on me, because I don't know what I'm doing. So we're going to do that. And my husband is taking the day off early. He'll be off at 2:30, which is unheard of, and he will meet us up at the trails, and so that means that he helped me load the bike rack onto the truck last night. We have a 3-set bike rack, and it's very heavy. I can do it with 2 by myself, but I can't do it with 3. It's too much, guys. So he helped me put the bike rack on last night. So after my coffee, I'm gonna go out and air up the bikes and stick helmets in the car and load them onto the rack and stuff. And I'm sure I'll point it out when I do it. And then, yeah, we're going to spend the afternoon on the trails, and it'll be a short afternoon because it's pitch black here by like 5:10, so, but, you know, he'll be home there at about 3:30. We should get in about an hour and a half of good riding to really enjoy ourselves, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah, I guess I'll talk to you guys soon.
I loaded the bikes. The bikes are locked. They're on the back.
Yeah.
Hector got out and made sure I didn't hit the building when I backed in. Yep. And yeah, so we are at his science lab. His appointment is at 1. They have a closed sign on the door. I guess they take a lunch hour, which is cool. Or maybe they're only open by appointment. I don't know which one. Anyway, so we are about 15 minutes early. So I figured I would give you guys an update. That's it. That's the update. This is Hector's new Lego toy. Go ahead.
It's not the robot that's new, it's this guy. His name is Tony Stark.
I showed him yesterday, remember?
Right.
Who was day 2? Who did you get for day 2 Advent?
Actually, it's not a person, it's stuff for him. Like, it says that he has stuff in, like, how he can fly and stuff that can be used for, like, firepower.
They're blue pieces that attach to his feet and his hands to look like flaming jets that come out or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's very cool. So, Hector got this Lego set. Oh, what a nightmare. I washed my hair last night and slept on it. It's great. Hector got this Lego set from his grandparents, and because Lego is amazing, everything is interchangeable. So, he just kind of puts it all together. Yeah, so I don't have much, you guys. There's not much going on today. We are gonna do the lab. We should be done by about 2. My husband is out at 2:30, so that will give us just enough time to get some lunch and then meet him at the trails.
Yeah.
Without everybody waiting on each other too much. And yeah, and then we're gonna have a nice afternoon. I'll try to film some of it. It's really hard to ride a bike and film at the same time. So, but there's a couple of features on the trails that we would like to get better at, so we will probably stop so that we can send this one back up the hill to come back down and try it again. So that's how we practice, right?
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. So I will catch up with you guys later.
Bye.
Hi, friends. So we're home. We have not gone to the trails yet. We have not biked yet. But Hector made a science experiment at the lab called the slime mutant. And basically what you do is you use a balloon and some fishnet to make a slime, put the slime inside the balloon. You know those things you can get at, like, I don't know, I always find like museum souvenir shops or whatever. But they're squishy balloons and you squish them and it shoves the pieces of the balloon through the mesh, like through the fishnet mesh, and then it creates like little bubbles and stuff like that. They're really, really creepy. You get to make one of those. So we made one. And he was playing with it, and it was fine, and everything was good, and I somehow can't tell time, and in my head, I was like, kind of running late, so we needed to grab lunch, and we were just gonna go and park at the trails. They have a giant dirt parking lot or gravel parking lot. We were just gonna sit on the back of the truck and eat and whatever. That wouldn't have worked. I have the bike rack on. Anyway, see, in my head, the day was going differently than it was. Well, we're in line at Wendy's because we're classy, and he burst open the balloon and there's glue slime stuff all over. He's gonna be so mad at me, but I'm gonna insert a picture here. Anyway, so luckily I carry a towel in my truck for just such emergencies, or like, if it's raining or something, something to be able to wipe it down. My husband also borrows my truck every now and then to go to work and stuff, and he works in manufacturing. The machines he runs have a coolant that sprays, and so he kind of ends up covered. His arms end up kind of like with this sticky film or whatever, and he's really considerate, and he doesn't like to have the vehicles be sticky, so he always carries a towel so he can put it on the armrest, so whenever he puts his elbow down, he doesn't get everything sticky. You didn't need me to gesture with my elbow and then shake the whole camera, but I did it anyway. You're welcome. Anyway, so now I need to run a load of laundry, and everything is basically covered in white glue, which is, thank goodness, it's so washable, which is wonderful. But I'm just taking about 5 minutes to sit in my craft room while Hector finishes his lunch. I have posted up in my grandparents' rocking chair. They've probably had this thing for like 10 years, 15 years before I got a hold of it, and that was when Hector was born. So it's old and it's comfortable and it probably needs new cushions, but it's really nice. Posted up in front of my embarrassing collection of watches. So we went bike riding and it was amazing and wonderful. And my kid really surprised me today. He did really, really good. He has been really practicing and really wanting to get better. And he has so much more confidence on the bike now than probably what he ever really has. Sorry, my foot's sitting against the tripod, and so every time like I put my hands back down on my lap, I knock my tripod. I'm trying to. It's just really comfortable to rest it right there, you know. But then you guys wiggle. So, yeah, he's been wanting to get better, and he's a lot more confident. And he tried a couple of features. There's a long bridge that has like a really big hill down and it comes up the other side, and he never does that one. He always walks that one. And immediately when we got to the park today, he's like, I'm gonna do it today. I was like, okay. So, and he did it, and it was great. And there were a couple of there was one like kind of hill, but it had like a ramp that led up to the top, and then it wasn't high necessarily, but he didn't look like he had enough speed for it. So we were kind of expecting him to not make it. So usually whenever we ride, either my husband or Hector will lead. A lot of time Hector leads because Onesimo knows what's coming up next, and he can kind of prompt him like, here's what you're gonna do. I always take the back. And I always take the back because I don't always notice when everybody has stopped, and like I'll just keep doodling on, you know. So I like to take the back so that I can see like what he's having trouble with, or like I said, Onesimo goes quite a bit more than we do, so he's a lot more familiar with the trails, and so he always has like really great tips and stuff. He's a great teacher. But anyway, yeah, he really muscled through a couple of things that he's either had a lot of trouble with, or things I never thought he would. I expected him to have trouble with, and he just didn't today, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. We did 7.5 miles. I think it was a little over an hour. It took us an hour. It took us 52 minutes to do the first like 3.5 miles. So for reference, whenever you're riding on flat pavement, like with your kids and you're just riding, not littles, but like 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds or something, and you're just riding, you can probably cover 3 miles in, I don't know, 20 minutes, maybe 30 at the most, you know. You don't have to be going fast. It's just flat, you know. But of course, where we're at, you know, it's not flat. It's features that are built in. So there's really tall hills, and there's ramps, and there's jumps if you want to take those things. There's always a path around it if you don't choose to. But yeah, we had a really good time. Anyway, it was a great workout. It was something I really needed. It was nice. Onesimo got off of work early today. He wasn't supposed to be out till 5:30. He got off at 2, and he came straight to the park to meet us, and we unloaded the bikes and went. It's been a really good day. We got done with that, and we went to a tea house near us, and got boba, and that was really nice. And then we basically were sitting in the parking lot and had just gotten our straws and our drinks, and we're like, I'm hungry. I don't want to cook. There's McAllister's right there. So we had McAllister's for dinner, and came home and scrubbed off the 6-inch layer of sand and dirt. The trails that we ride. Okay, so Houston is not a very outdoorsy city. We do have the bike trails. We have a couple sets of them in the city here, and they are voluntarily maintained. I think that the local bike barn does one of them, sponsors one of them. But, you know, we have a lot of transplants. We have a lot of people who come here for energy careers or medical careers. We have we're the medical center of the world almost. You know, no, we are. And we're the cancer center of the world. I know that for sure. And we're the energy capital of the world. And we have a lot of people who come here. And so Houston is trying really hard. Like, if you come here and you're a city dweller, there's a ton of stuff for you to do. There's so much stuff here to do. You kind of have to look for it in certain areas. Some of the areas are, very industrial. Texas building codes are a little bit weird. It's not odd to have like a warehouse district and then like behind their fence is a neighborhood. Like that's not weird. We kind of just stack. It's not very pretty, but I guess it's effective. Cost of living is really low here. Schools are good here. Relative, you know how that works, right? But you can have a really good life here in Houston if you want one. But what it doesn't really offer is a lot of green space, at least where we're at. Like the downtown area has done a lot more in order to try to amp that up because people are coming here from other places and they do crave the green space because we are such a big city. And honestly, you can have all the green space you want. It's just hot, and a lot of people can't. Hang. I know that sounds really condescending. I don't mean it that way. The heat and humidity is a real thing, and if you are not acclimated and you are not prepared, or if you have asthma, or if like those kinds of things are really hard for you, you will struggle here a lot. Fortunately, those things don't really bug me. So we are pretty good about getting outside all year round. We just use a lot of sunscreen. But anyway, they're making an effort, but because we flood so much in the different areas, it's hard to have maintained really nice green space. And so what ends up happening is a lot of the areas, we have a lot of green space simply because we need water retention. We need areas that can take the flood water away from the houses. And so we have like the bayous and stuff. And so a bayou for us is probably not the same as it is in like bayou world of like Florida and, Louisiana. They're not the swamps that you're thinking of necessarily. A bayou for us is just like a big giant ditch. It's a system of ditches that has, probably a creek that runs through it or something. And that way when the floodwater comes, it all diverts that way and then diverts out of the city. Those are what we call bayous. And they're actually all interconnected, obviously, because they're funneling the water out of the city. So a lot of that land, you can't build on it. It's not legal to build on it because you're gonna flood. And so a lot of that land, basically, I guess some people went to the city and were like, we want to build a mountain bike park. And they were like, no, okay, well, I mean, you guys have to maintain it. But if you're willing to do that, then like we can't use that land anyway. Y'all knock yourselves out. And so it's free and it's really cool. It's really cool. It's not the greatest, I mean, but it's maintained pretty well and they've got some neat features and it's enough for the for us to get out and enjoy. I'm sorry, I'm tired. So anyway, the boys have gone to bed. Onesimo woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, so he's tired. And Hector wanted to go watch TikToks with him, and he does this a couple times a week. He's 10 and he still enjoys it. He still, asks to fall asleep with us, and he still asks for us to read bedtime stories. And so we're just soaking that up as long as we can because there will be a day, I'm sure. So I'm catching up on Vlogmases, and I am knitting my Talvinin. I'm gonna have to look that up. But it is a sweater by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. I'm sure you've seen it. It's in a pine green and a light gray. Both of these are heathers. They are from Knit Picks. It's just Knit Picks Stroll Tweed. And it's great. I knit a girlfriend the Estrella sweater, so it's like moon phases almost. It's a Megan Regan design, Bad Wolf Girl. And if I can find a picture, I'll pop it here, whatever. I knit her one out of black and white. I knit it out of Stroll, and it was great. Like, I stole it for a podcast. I could record with it on, and it was so comfortable. And I was like, why have I not been using Knit Picks? This stuff is awesome. So, there you go. Pro tip. Knit Pick Stroll makes really good fingering weight sweaters. I don't know how it'll wear or how it'll wash. She's never made any mention to me that hers is fuzzy or anything like that. And hers is black and white, so there wasn't any bleeding, nothing like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think that if you're not particularly rough on your sweaters, you know. But she has a toddler. And I made her toddler a matching one actually, and they're machine washable, and she's never had any problems. So I figured that the color scheme has been one that I've been wanting to make a sweater in for years, for absolutely years, and I figured, why not now? So I have a sample commission for Jamie Hoffman of Knitosophy. I have the yarn for it. It's going to be in Miss Babs. It's going to be very cool. And it's a very simple color work. It should be really fast. So I'm going to start that here very shortly, but that has like a January deadline. And I just finished that behemoth of a cardigan for Jamie, which turned out amazing, and I have legitimately started to think about maybe I want one, and I don't like cardigans, you guys, at all. But the way that one fit around your shoulders was really nice, and even though it had a shawl collar, it wasn't something I found bothering me. Even jackets, like I have my North Face jacket, so it has like a small collar up here, and then like I have a leather jacket and it folds over or whatever. But collars that sit on the back of my neck, if I can feel it touching the back of my neck, it drives me freaking crazy. I'll spend the whole day like kind of doing this like unconsciously, and then I end up with this massive tension headache, and it just drives me nuts. Or I do it and then I find myself putting my hands in my pockets, and like for some reason I feel like I have to push down and create this weight on my shoulder. I'm dumb. I don't know why I do this stuff. But I don't enjoy collars that do that. But the forsythia that I did was obviously too big for me, but it was really comfortable. It was really, really cozy. And I've found myself kind of missing it and thinking that maybe I want one. So we'll see. That won't happen anytime soon, I don't think. I don't remember where I was going with this. Okay, my point was that I'm going to finish this yoke chart, and then I'm going to separate for sleeves, and then I will pull out my next sample, and I will share that with you guys over Vlogmas, because that's when I will do most of the knitting, or yeah, probably most of the knitting. We're only on the 4th, so. Anyway, I am going to finish catching up with Vlogmas. So I am behind on the not quite enough, what does she call it? The not quite enough December Vlogmas. So I don't know if you guys know Lesley, but she lives in the UK, and she is a funeral celebrant. And she's also in a drum band. What's that called? A drumming group. And she's just lovely. She's absolutely lovely. Her podcast is called Not Quite Enough Yarn. And she did some coronavirus vlogs and stuff. She's just a really, really lovely soul. If you don't watch Lesley, I really think you should. She will make you feel better. She has a personality that just, I don't know, I just find her really charming. She has a very warm personality that makes you want to talk to her and listen to her talk. A couple of other people I think do that are Marce of Hey Brown Berry and Amy Beth of The Fat Squirrel. So if you ever find yourself just burned out and kind of like you just need a hug, like those are 3 people that I super, super recommend. I have so many other Vlogmases that I'm enjoying so much right now that I want to talk to you about, but I'm trying to space that out, and today's Vlogmas is going to be pretty long, I think, so anyway, I'm going to get back to my knitting. I'm going to finish catching up with Lesley and get through some of my other Vlogmases. Yeah, I actually think I'm going to call it a night. It's going to be a long one today, and I don't have anything else to talk about really, and I probably should get to editing this before midnight. So, okay, maybe right after midnight, but I'd like to be in bed by 2. So I will talk to you guys in the morning, and I will show you the Advents that we countdowns. I'm trying to stop calling it Advents. I don't celebrate Advent, so I'm trying to rectify my language, and it's kind of hard. Old habits die hard. Anyway, so we opened up our countdown calendars tonight, and I will show you what we all got, I guess. My husband got a lemon and yuzu spread from his Bonne Maman like jelly countdown calendar. It has like jellies and honeys and stuff in it, and I don't really know what yuzu is, but it sounds really good. So, he's in bed, and there are crackers in the cupboard, so I kind of feel like it's fair game, right? It's fair game, right? Because if he wanted it, then he would have just eaten it before I could have, right? I'm going with this because I didn't really get a lot. I kind of got to try the strawberry one as an afterthought. Strawberry is my husband's favorite. I make homemade strawberry jam. He was kind enough to say that it wasn't as good as mine. My husband likes jelly a lot more than I do. I shouldn't be all up on it. But his countdown thing has some really cool flavors that I'm really excited about. And I'm really excited about the fact that there are a couple of flavors I'm super excited about, and he is not excited at all, which means that they're going to be mine, which is awesome. I love it when you get somebody a gift that you get to enjoy too. So anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Good night.